Now is a good time to get out and get that deer rifle sighted in. Today we're visiting with Education Supervisor Marty Egeland to talk about shooting ranges on Game and Fish Department wildlife management areas. I'm Mike Anderson with the North Dakota Game and Fish Department.
Currently in North Dakota, the North Dakota Game and Fish Department manages 5, and they're all along the Missouri River on land that's owned by Corps, with the exception of Wilton. We have them in Bismarck, Mandan, Riverdale, Williston, and then we do have one up by Wilton on the some land we manage. So sighting these is probably the most difficult portion, and that's the reason they're kind of along the rivers. We have usable land there for ranges. We are also in the process of starting our 6th range, and that will be down in the southeast by Hankinson, North Dakota, and that's going to be a year better till that one's online. They're just starting the construction phase. We have shooting ranges for a variety of things. Number one is, just to hone skills for outdoorsmen. They need if they're going to go out and hunt, they need a place to practice with their firearm for proficiency. Part of the other reason is we want shooting occurring at a designated range for safety purposes. The bulk of our wildlife management areas are set up just for that wildlife management. It's not set up for what we would call promiscuous shooting. You can't just go out to a wildlife management area in any blank area and just shoot. It has to be at a designated range, and that's mostly for safety, and also those management areas are for designated for wildlife, and we don't need any extra disruption there. So now's the time to start prepping for that. Get ready so when season hits here, you're not scrambling to get your rifle sight in the last minute, or see if your shotgun's functioning. The majority of them are set up with an area to shoot shotgun. They don't all have that, but they all typically will have a 25-yard range, a 100-yard range, and a 200-yard range. And we don't have anything farther than 200. That suits the needs of probably 95% of our hunters in North Dakota. So we don't have any long-range shooting, but 200 and in is kind of where we set it up for the most use for the majority of people there. The one thing, we have different ranges, distances, because we require that people shoot at, if you're shooting at 200 yards, for example, like this range, you have to have your target on the backstop at the end of the range. You can't put a target at 100 yards simply because of the reason, if it's in front of the berm, these berms are designed to catch bullets and prevent ricochets. And so by having ranges for different distances, people can shoot at the backstop. So, if they would happen to miss the target, the back berm is still going to catch the bullet. Typically, you can come any time of the day. They're open daylight hours, and I've been here as early as 6 in the morning, and I've never come here without somebody being here. So they get used quite a bit, and of course it depends on the time of year. But I've also driven by here and mid to late December pheasant hunting, and there's never not a car here shooting, so they get highly used. Absolutely, there's rules, and first off, just be a good citizen. Consider who you're shooting next to. Safe gun handling, pick your stuff up. Only shoot at the designated range. Those are the big things. We don't allow any 50 caliber and over rifles, so it is designed for typically hunting and recreational type rifles and handguns and shotguns. So we do have stands to place targets on at the back of the berms. Don't bring extra targets, TVs, pumpkins. It just makes a mess out of the place. And then throwing stuff on the ground. Ground targets are against the rules here. Just simply, we talked before about ricochets. If the items aren't up against the berm on a target background, that's just going to increase the risk. And I'll be honest with you, it doesn't take much to close a shooting range down. What might seem like a harmless activity for you, if that bullet exits and goes in somebody else's farmyard, these places can get shut down. So follow the rules. Just only shoot at targets, and we don't want to mess here. We want bullets staying in the range. And the other portion of this, besides just becoming proficient with your firearm, so you're able to make a clean, ethical killing shot out there. Every time that a hunter purchases a firearm or ammunition, they pay an excise tax that goes into the federal government, and that's doled back out to the states. And part of that is to fund shooting ranges, and the people who utilize these things are in fact paying for them. So that's part of the reason there is not only for for proficiency for hunters, but also just places for people who are recreational shooters to shoot. You know, you're not probably not going to be the only one out here, so you know you have to coordinate with if there's 2 or 3 of you shooting at the 100-yard range, you guys are going to have to coordinate with each other and go down and check targets at the same time. And they are side bermed, so we can have separate activities going on at the 25, the 100, and the 200. So the whole line doesn't have to wait to go down, but there's berms between the 100 and 200 yard, for example. So the 100-yard people can go down range while the 200-yard people are still shooting. But inside the range, yeah, you're going to have to work with your neighbor a little bit just for safety concerns. So the majority of them are, owned by, local clubs and stuff, and we do partner with them and offer grants. We'll look at the grant applications that come out and we'll rank them and we'll award grants. So if you're looking, to do some improvements to your range, there is money out there. All the information's on our website, gf.nd.gov. Go to shooting range grants. You can get the application, download it, and fill it out. And if you have questions, just give us a call, and we'll help you kind of work your way through the paperwork. So, our ranges are pretty much, they're not manned. We don't have personnel out here. So there's nobody out here to clean up. We'll have crews come out here and mow once in a while, but the big thing that can help to keep these ranges clean and operable and open is, once again, like I said before, just be a good citizen. Clean up after yourself. If you bring something in here, take it out, take your targets down, pick up your empties and just clean the place up. We have, dumpsters here. There's plenty of room for trash, and that'll just go a long ways to, making sure that this is neat and clean and acceptable for the next person to come and shoot.